What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Carl. I'm a consumer review lad, and I just consumed AEW Dynamite January 12th, 2022 episode, and I'm going to review it on this podcast. But before I do review it on this podcast, I did not do a review for AEW Rampage last week or AEW Battle of the Belt, so I'm going to go ahead and do the match ratings for those two shows. I'm not going to do a full review, but I'll do the match ratings. So for the January 7th AEW Rampage, we had Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas. I gave that 3 stars. We had Hook versus Aaron Solo. I gave that 2 stars. Ruby Soho and Riho versus Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. I gave 2.25, so 2.25 stars. And then Daniel Garcia and 2.0 versus Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz. I gave 3 3/4 or 3.75 stars. So the show rating for that AEW Rampage was 2.75. We go to Battle of the Belts. For Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the interim TNT Championship, I gave 3.5 stars, so 3.5. For Matt Sydal versus Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship, I gave 3.25, so 3.25. And Riho versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship, I gave 2.75 or 2 3/4 stars. The show rating for Battle of the Belts is 3.17. which has been the highest show rating for any show I've rated so far. But I don't think Battle of the Belts has been the best show I've seen. I don't even think it's been the best AEW show. I'm pretty sure the last week's Dynamite was better. Last week's Dynamite show rating was 2.29. But how you get show rating is it's pretty much the average match rating. So you take all the match ratings, you add them together, and you divide it by the number of matches that were on the show. That's what I call the show rating. So pretty much with how my show ratings works, you can say that, okay, well, an average match on Battle of the Belts is like 3.17 stars. That's what the average match is. The average match for the last Dynamite was 2.29. I mean, it's really ignoring the fact that the last Dynamite had, in my opinion, at this point, match of the year with 4 3/4 star Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson. But there's some squash matches in there that just like get less than 1 stars. So that really brings it down. But the show rating is just an idea of what the average match rating is. All right, with that being said, let's get into this AEW Dynamite. It opens up with Adam Cole, Kylie O'Reilly, and Bobby Fischer in the ring. Adam Cole takes the mic. He cuts a promo, pretty much just putting himself and his group over. He's going on to say that they are a new era, and then the Young Bucks come out with Cutler on a mic, and then they come into the ring. And before they come into the ring, though, Kyle's telling the Young Bucks they did not need their help during their match with the Best Friends 2 weeks ago in Jacksonville at the New Year's show. And Matt Jackson cuts a promo pretty much about this being their company. They're the longest reigning tag team champions, and they want to get the belts back. Cole disses the Best Friends. The Best Friends come out. Cole starts to trash Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy attacks Cole. They all brawl. Adam Cole gives Orange Cassidy a low blow. He's about to attack him some more. Chris Statlander comes out to kind of run in between them. And, of course, Adam Cole's not going to hit Statlander, but Britt Baker comes out and sneaks attack and hits Chris Statlander. Baker helps Cole attack Orange Cassidy. The Young Bucks go to kiss Adam Cole. Baker stops him and kisses him herself, and that was the opening. So it's kind of always interesting when Dynamite opens with a promo. Dynamite, for so many, I don't know the statistics, but you have to think like maybe it's in the 90%, maybe even higher of episodes that open with a match, just straight up a match. Very rarely do you have it open up with a promo. This was one of the times you had it open up with a promo. Next up, we have a Wardlow video package to hype up his match, coming up with CM Punk. MJF comes out, then Wardlow comes out with his match for CM Punk. We have Warlow versus CM Punk. So this match was a lot of CM Punk selling. Then CM Punk was getting some action on Warlow, but then Wardlow ended up hitting like 5 power bombs on him. And then he pins him with his foot on his chest, and MJF tells him to stop the pin. Like, get off, don't do it yet, do more power bombs, which is interesting because usually Shawn Spears is telling Warlow to don't even do power bombs, just get the pin, get the win, get the pin, get the win. Don't really put yourself over. This time it's different. Don't get the win, keep giving him power bombs. So he does more power bombs. He did a few more. Eventually CM Punk kind of rolled out of the ring. MJF cleared the table for Warlow, and Warlow power bombed CM Punk through the timekeeper's table, and he goes to wait in the ring for a 10 count, but CM Punk returned to the ring at 9 right before the 10 count. Wardlow goes to do another powerbomb, but CM Punk reversed it into a roll-up to win the match. I gave this match 2.5 stars, 2.5 stars. After the match, Wardlow is of course upset with MJF, but MJF is also upset with Wardlow, so MJF is just screaming at Wardlow. He starts poking him in the chest. Wardlow takes MJF's hand off of him. Shawn Spears comes out to try and cool Wardlow down. So this has been a long storyline, all right? I mean, Wardlow versus MJF has been going on since, I don't even know, maybe before the Inner Circle debacle. It's been going on quite a while. But they stopped it. I guess they'd stopped it when they did the Pinnacle. They're working together a lot better, and now they're back to feuding with each other. So, it's not going to happen soon. We have MJF versus Punk. That's going to happen beforehand. But Warlow versus MJF, maybe a double or nothing match. I mean, eventually you're just going to have to get this over with, make Warlow a babyface, and go from there. And this was just a good stepping stone towards that. I mean, this is a good finish and making Warlow look really good and CM Punk look really good. CM Punk still now undefeated. And Warlow has a loss, but I mean, this is one of those okay losses. Like, he pretty much won the match, but it's not going to show on the stats. You figured maybe MJF would, attack Warlow or do something like that just to make sure that he beats CM Punk and takes a victory off of him. That would have been kind of interesting if CM Punk was dominating Warlow and then MJF said screw it and just hit him with a steel chair just to do the DQ, just kind of what CM Punk did to him last week. But they didn't do the DQ finish. They did the roll-up finish, and Wardlow takes this loss from CM Punk, and CM Punk is going to keep on his winning streak. Next up, we have a Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin match. A lot of selling by Dante. At one point, Ricky Starks was trying to cheat. He was on the ring apron, but Jay Lethal comes out and knocks him off the ring apron. Dante uses this distraction to hit his finisher and win. I give this match 2.5 stars, also 2.5 stars. So I'm not sure where they're going to go from here. I think Powerhouse Hobbs and Dante Martin, they might be 1-1. I don't remember who won the first match. I'm going to assume it was Powerhouse Hobbs. I thought Powerhouse Hobbs was going to win this match, but Dante Martin did a little sneak win. Jay Lethal's in the picture, so that he's going to enter the storyline. So we're going to see where this goes from here. I'm not sure where Leo Rush is. That Leo Rush usually was with Dante Martin. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we'll just have to see what happens with the storylines going forward with Team Taz and Dante Martin. We have a backstage Alex Marvez interview with Jericho, Hager, Santana, and Ortiz. Jericho cuts a promo about the Inner Circle and Sammy's match tonight. Eddie Kingston interrupts that interview, tells Jericho to mind his own business. Eddie tells Santana and Ortiz Jericho's the reason they are not the tag team champions. Santana tells them to get their shit together, and he leaves. Ortiz and Jake Hager follow him and leave as well. Jericho tells Kingston if he gets involved tonight, he'll kick his ass, and tells him GFY, which it just means, I'm assuming means go fuck yourself. That's what I'm assuming GFY means, go fuck yourself. Otherwise, I don't know what GFY means. That's just an assumption. MJF comes back out and announces next week it's CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. Well, he was hinting it was going to be him. I always love it when they come out and tell the fans, do you want this match next week? Do you want this match next week? I feel like 99% of the time the fans are like, no, we want this match tonight. Like, we're paid to be here. We want to see this match in person. It reminds me of a SmackDown a few years ago. I think it was like right after the first Women's Money in the Bank. They were doing a promo on SmackDown. They were like, all right, well, we're going to do a Money in the Bank match next week. And then the fans were just booing because, like, no, they want to see it that week. But of course, you advertise it for next week to get people to tune in. But the people in the arena, I don't think they care what you got to do next week. They probably want to see it tonight. But anyway, MJF was teasing he was going to face CM Punk next week. He's not. He just threw Shawn Spears in to probably get some heat. The only people he's getting heat from are probably in Washington, D.C., who has tickets to that Dynamite. Otherwise, the people in Raleigh, North Carolina, they probably don't really care. They probably don't. I mean, I'm sure they'd like to see it on TV, but they'd probably rather see it there in person. Maybe do it on Rampage. That would have been a funnier thread if he did it on Rampage. But then you have to have CM Punk doing double duty, and, why not? Why do that? Why not just have him do it another match next week in Washington, D.C. Anyways, Adam Cole and Friends is what I'm going to call this group because I don't have a name for them. I don't know if they're the Super Click or the Super Click or the Undisputed Super Click, but you have Adam Cole, you have the Young Bucks, and you have Kylie O'Reilly and Bobby Fischer doing their, I almost want to say weekly at this point, Brandon Cutler video promo where Brandon Cutler's behind the camera. And pretty much Britt Baker gets introduced here too, and they challenge Statlander and Cassidy to a mixed tag match next week. Next up, we have Hangman Adam Page. He comes out to the ring. He cuts a promo about wanting a new challenger. Dan Lambert comes out with the mic, and they kind of cut a little dual promo there between the two of them. But Dan Lambert's basic promo is, you're a good wrestler, Hangman Adam Page, but you're not a cowboy. Stop the cowboy act. Hangman invites Lambert into the ring. Lambert's like, nah, I'm going to leave. Lance Archer music hits. He comes out. He forces Lambert to run in the ring. Archer goes in the ring, grabs Lambert, and then just like throws him down and attacks Hangman Adam Page. He grabs a chair and he does a blackout Hangman. He pretty much gives Hangman Adam Page a blackout onto a chair. Which really means that Hangman Adam Page versus Lance Archer is going to be the probably the next feud. We're probably going to see this. I don't think it's going to be on Beach Break. It seems too soon for Beach Break for a build, but it's possible. You can throw it on Beach Break because maybe you don't really care for a build. Otherwise, some show in February. A lot of people are speculating that Adam Cole and Hangman Adam Page might be the match we see at Revolution in early March. It could be Moxley. I think Moxley and Page was probably going to be the one that was going to have that Winter is Coming. So if Moxley comes back, I could see him being one of the first people to challenge Hangman Adam Page to the title. And I think that's a match a lot of people would want to see. I think that could sell maybe pay-per-views. That or Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole could also sell pay-per-views. I don't think Hangman Adam Page and Lance Archer would sell a lot of pay-per-views for the title. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be a TV match we see within the next few weeks. Maybe Beach Break, maybe one of the shows after Beach Break. Maybe they'll do another special show. Next up, we have Tony Schiavone backstage interview of Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson. Tully and FTR interrupt the interview, and this sets up an FTR versus Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson match. I think that's going to happen next week at Dynamite. And all this kind of happened into the 9 p.m. hour. So it's like at this point, right after that interview, I checked and it was like 9:01. So pretty much whatever happens next is like it was a commercial break. So whatever happens next is kind of what they were leading into the 9 p.m. hour. So it's either the end of that Archer Hangman Adam Page beatdown or that interview or, whatever comes from the commercial break. But the first thing after the commercial break was a Jade Cargill video package. She's the TBS champion. So it was about that. We have Hikaru Shita versus Serena Deeb. During Shita's entrance, Serena Deeb blindsided and attacked her, did a lot of work on her leg. The ref was like, do you want to start the match? Shita was clearly working her leg, saying that it's hurt, but she wanted to start the match anyways. The ref's like, are you sure? We probably shouldn't start. She's like, start the match. So they start the match. And the match is basically Serena Deeb just attacking Shita's leg the whole match. Ends up putting her in a submission. Shita doesn't tap out. The referee just stops the match, calls it. I gave this match 0.75 stars, so 3.25 star. Really weird storyline. I mean, it doesn't hurt Shita. It doesn't really help Deeb. This is not like a legitimate match, really. It's not. It's almost like a squash match or something, or you could call it maybe a story match because it helps develop a story, but it's not like a work rate match. Really not sure what they're going to do from here. I mean, after the match, Deeb came back with a kendo stick, swung it at the ref, swung it at the doctor. They leave, starts attacking Shita over and over. More refs come out. Aubrey's able to retain her kind of by herself, basically. Some woman wrestlers come out to check on Shita. You have Anna Jay, Tay Conti, I believe Sky Blue is her name, was one of the newer wrestlers, came as well to look after Shita and kind of help her to the back. Tony Schiavone, backstage interview of Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian. Jungle Boy says they want a challenge. They're looking for someone in the top 5. John Silver and Alex Reynolds interrupt, and they're like, they're in the top 5, and they want to challenge them for the belts. So that sets up a match for Rampage. Jurassic Express that's what their name was, but they keep calling them Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are going to retain on that Rampage match. This is my prediction. I haven't seen any spoilers. I try not to look at Rampage spoilers, but let's be honest, I'm pretty sure they're going to retain. That's my prediction. And I tweet my predictions on Dynamite and Rampage and the specials and the pay-per-views at my Twitter at @consume_review. I try to put them in the podcast too, but I might not be able to put all of my Rampage ones on. But I think they're going to retain. All right, we'll go back in the ring. Hardy's in the ring with a mic. He cuts a promo about his match with Penta. Matt Hardy versus Penta. Penta wins via his finishing move. I don't know what it's called. It's like this pile driver type move. I give this match 2.5 stars as well. So 2.5 stars. It's the third one tonight. That's 2.5 stars. Penta cuts a promo in the ring after the match on Malachi Black. The lights go out. Lights come back on. Malachi Black's in the ring. He attacks Alex. He then brawls with Penta. Malachi goes to tear his mask. And Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. come in and attack Malachi. They kind of surround him. Lights go out again. Come back on, and Brody King is in the ring and lays out the Varsity Blondes, lays out Penta. So that's Brody King. He's the surprise debut of the week pretty much this week. But I mean, I think it's been known for a while that he's been signed with AEW and that he was going to join with Malachi Black and the House of Black. It was just been more of a win than it was an F. He's going to join. It's Wednesday going to join, and well, now he's officially joined. So the House of Black is getting some team members. So we'll see where those two go from here with this feud. Looks like they have an argument to set up a 6-man tag match, and that'd be interesting to see who does Malachi Black bring and for a third member, or they just do a straight up tag match. We'll have to see. Tony Schiavone backstage interview with Statlander, Red Velvet, and Layla Hirsch. Tony asks Statlander a question, I think, about her mixed tag match, and Layla Hirsch cuts her off, says this is kind of rude. Statlander, Layla Hirsch, they have some tension. This has been the weekly thing going on with these two, building up some storyline of, are they friends, but there's tension there. We'll see when they have their blow-off match. The Acclaim versus Bear County. This match was not advertised on Twitter, I believe. Going into this episode, there's only 4 matches announced for the longest time. And I always make comments when there's 4 because I'm just kind of wondering if there's going to be a 5th or 6th. The last time there was 4, we had a 1-hour match. And maybe there's only one other time there's 4, was maybe that Blood and Guts match. But people on Twitter were like, well, maybe there'll be a lot of promos. Well, there's a lot of promos when there's 5 or 6 matches, which this should show you because there were 6 matches tonight at the end of the day, and there's a lot of promos. So it's kind of just, I don't know. It's sometimes when you comment just an innocent question on Twitter, people take it the wrong way. People think you're attacking the product or I'm not attacking AEW because they only advertise 4 matches. I'm not trashing the show. I'm just generally curious when you have 5 or 6 matches week after week after week and you have 4 matches. I'm like, when are you going to announce the 5th match? Especially when I want to make predictions and post it on Twitter. This match was not announced, so I couldn't post this prediction on Twitter. But I figured the Acclaim would win. I put that in my notes. I predicted the Acclaim would win. And the Acclaim versus Bear County, the Acclaim won. Bear County got jobber entrances even. The Acclaim won via a mic drop. I gave this match 2 2/4, so 2 1/4 star. It's just, interesting, I guess, since Serena, Deeb, and Hikaru Shita had not that much time. I guess you could just add a match to fill up the time. But there were 6 matches on this Dynamite. Plenty of promos, so you can definitely get both of them done. After the match, the Acclaim's walking up the ramp, and Sting comes out with a bat. Darby kind of sneaks behind them and attacks through the ring. He does this little, where he jumps through the ring ropes and launches himself like a bullet. And then they just kind of attack and beat him up in the ring and laid him out, and Sting and Darby Allin stand tall in the end. We have a Pac video promo where he's in blindfolds. I think he's talking to Malachi Black about not having vision or something. Not really sure. So, Pac is feuding with Malachi Black. Or is he? Maybe there's a little twist here. Maybe he's going to come back and join the House of Black. Who knows? We'll have to see. That would be kind of interesting. And it would set up this 6 versus 6 tag match. We have the Rampage matches, which, again, I have not seen any Rampage spoilers whatsoever. So I'm just letting you know on this podcast. I have no idea. But these are who I think's going to win based off just me watching AEW Dynamite for 2 to 3 years now. Okay. Trent versus Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole's going to win. Statlander, Red Velvet, and Layla Hirsch versus Nyla Rose, the Bunny, and someone else that I could not write their name down in time. Who is it? I think it's Penelope Ford. That makes the most sense. Of course, I think Statlander, Velvet, and Layla Hirsch are going to win that match. Spears goes one-on-one with this Andrew guy. Never heard of him before, so I'm assuming Spears is going to win, get that W right before he gets that L from CM Punk next Wednesday night on Dynamite. Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. Whoa, not Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. There we go. Versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Of course, like I said earlier, I think Jurassic Express is going to retain. I don't know why they don't call them Jurassic Express. It makes it so much easier to talk about them versus having to mention their names, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. But I guess they're trying to make Jungle Boy into a star, and this is the first step in doing that. Anyways, Tony Schiavone, backstage interview with Matt Hardy in Private Party. Andrade interrupts the interview. Andrade wants to talk business with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's like, not in front of these fans. Let's talk in my office. And they go to the office, and I'm assuming they talk business. And I'm assuming we're going to see what they talk about in a future episode of All Elite Wrestling Television. Next up, we have Daniel Garcia versus Sammy Guevara for the interim TNT Championship. Interim championships are always an interesting thing because there's always a question if you're an actual champion or not. And this whole time, everyone's been treating this like an actual championship, and that's fine. I mean, I'm just wrestling, why not? But I just think about the UFC, especially when Gaethje got the interim lightweight championship when he won it. He just kind of like threw it on the ground, said he wants the real deal, the real thing, and then kind of almost, I think, treated it like the same way as press conference before his fight with Khabib. But I don't know if all the UFC champions do that. I mean, you could still consider it a championship, but there's been a lot of people who have been interim UFC champions, I should say, and there's always an argument if they're like an actual champion or not. I guess if you have an interim championship, you could consider it. I'm really not sure how they view it. I have no idea, but in wrestling, they're viewing this interim TNT title as the real deal. They've been tweeting about it, building it up. We have Kingston and Jericho ringside during the match 2.0 eventually come out and attack Kingston and Jericho. Sammy wins via GTH with a terrible camera angle. I don't know what's with AEW and getting terrible camera angles. It happens quite often. I mean, this was atrociously bad for this GTH because you could just kind of, at first the GTH didn't look that great anyways. And you just saw Sammy just slap his thigh. He just slapped his thigh right there and won the match. So I give this match 2 3/4, 2.75. After the match, 2.0 attacks Sammy. Jericho comes in with a bat, takes care of them. Eddie Kingston had one of them, and Jericho takes care of him with a bat. Kingston's mad. He's like, that's my guy. So Kingston starts to take his clothes off because he wants to fight. The show ends with them talking trash to each other, and that's how the show ends. So we're seeing Jericho versus Kingston happening soon, probably, and I think you could stretch this out to Revolution if you needed to. That could maybe sell some pay-per-views, and that is this January 12th, 2022 episode of AEW Dynamite. Like I said, we'll go through the match ratings one more time real quick. Warlow versus CM Punk, 2.5 stars. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin, 2.5 stars. Shita versus Deeb, 0.75 stars. Matt Hardy versus Penta, 2.5 stars. Bear County versus The Acclaim, 2.25 stars. Daniel Garcia versus Sammy Guevara for the interim TNT Championship, 2.75 stars. So the show rating for this January 12th, 2022 edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS was 2.21. Like I said, last show rating for Dynamite was 2.29. Last Dynamite was definitely better. This was definitely one of probably the weaker Dynamites. This is a Dynamite I could see honestly being bottom 10 of the year. If you were to do like a 52 Dynamite ranking, I could see this being in the bottom 10 of that ranking, and on the bad side, not the good side. So rank like, I don't know, 44th or 45th or something. Just wasn't that impressive of a Dynamite. Just, not a single match went over 3 stars. And that's what's interesting about just the range, because if you have a bunch of squash matches like the last Dynamite, I think had maybe 1 or 2 squash matches, you really bring that rating down even when you have a 4 3/4 star match. Meanwhile, most of the matches were in the 2.25 to 2.75 star range, and the only one that was below it was Shita versus Deeb at 0.75 stars. But anyways, I like to know what everyone else thinks of AEW Dynamite. Tweet me at consume_review. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment down below. If you're watching on YouTube and you enjoy the podcast, click like. If you don't enjoy it, click subscribe. You might enjoy a future podcast. Anyways, my name is Carl. I'm the Consumer Review Line, and this has been the review for AEW Dynamite, January 12th, 2022 edition. Peace out.